Hey, what's going on guys? Carlos here with Wirefly, and today I'm bringing you guys a review. I'm reviewing the 505 by Verykool, which is the biggest and baddest phone this company has to offer. So, let's get started. But before I start this review, I just wanted to thank our friends over at Verykool for sending this phone out for review. We received no compensation for this video. Like I mentioned in my previous video, Verykool makes affordable Android phones. This is no exception. What you see here is a $200 phone. It's unlocked, so you can insert any SIM from around the world, and it will work. I also inserted a SIM from Mexico in this one, and it worked with no problem. I actually have the SIM in right now, so that's why you can see it's in roaming. One thing I would actually like to mention is that this phone does not support 4G. It can go only up to 3G, so if you were looking to hook up this phone to 4G or even 4G LTE, this is not the phone for you. Let's take a tour around the phone. First thing you'll probably notice is that this phone has a 5-inch display. It is a 720p IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen. The colors look kinda cartoonish. I don't know what it is, but I cannot get used to the display. Not saying it's a bad display, I just can't really explain what it looks like. If we look on top of the display, you can see the earpiece, which is for making phone calls, and it actually gets pretty nice and loud. Next to it is a sensor which detects for light and detects when you have the phone up to your ear so you can turn off the display. And all the way to the right is the 2-megapixel camera. It takes pretty good selfies, so it should be good enough for your selfie needs. Below the display there is only one thing, the Verykool logo. The bottom of the phone has a charging port, which is a micro USB that can also be used to transfer data, and also you can see right next to it is a microphone. The right hand side has the sleep wake button and the volume rocker, which both give you nice feedback when you press them. The top only has the 3.5mm headphone jack, and the left hand side was left intact. On the back of the phone you are going to see the 12-megapixel camera. Yes, I said a 12-megapixel camera. If you guys want to see a more in-depth review on the camera, you guys can check out my video I made about it. I will link it down in the description. Next to the camera is a single LED flash, which gets pretty bright. It should be enough for those low light situations. Towards the bottom of the phone is the Verykool logo again, and the speaker grill, which may be deceiving. So let's remove the back so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The back is kind of hard to take off. It snaps into several places all the way around the phone. So you are going to have to go around the phone snapping off all the little clips in order to remove the back. Once the back is revealed, you will see why I said the speaker grill was deceiving. The grill went all the way across, which made it seem like the speaker was going to be really big, but no, it was just a really small speaker. And while the speaker may not get that loud, it's decently loud. Above the speaker is the battery, which is a 2000 milliamp battery. I will talk more about the battery performance later on in the video. You're going to have to remove the battery in order to insert anything in the card slots. I'm talking about the SIM, micro SIM, and the micro SD slots. As you guys can see, the SIM slot is filled with a SIM, the one I mentioned earlier that's from Mexico. This proves that this phone is just a plug and play phone. And you are going to most definitely want to upgrade your memory, since internally this phone only has 2 GB, but you can expand it via micro SD up to 32 GB. This phone feels pretty good in the hand. It has a glossy and smooth back, and it may seem like it's going to be very slippery, but it's actually not. The back is actually pretty tacky, and it actually helps you grip the phone. Does not feel like it's going to slip off your hands, and I really like that the power on and off button is on the side. It's towards the top of the phone, so it may be hard for some people to reach it, but it was no issue for me. The build quality on this phone is excellent. Feels way better than some Samsung phones, which seem flimsy and like they're going to fall apart. This phone feels solid and like it was built to last. Now performance is where I thought this phone was going to lack some horsepower. I had no app crashes, not that many drop frames while I was gaming, and just a pretty good time using it. Running Android version 4.2 Jelly Bean and a MediaTek 1.2 GHz quad-core processor, this phone has plenty of power to handle anything you throw at it. Like I mentioned in my previous video, having no skins on top of Android really helps the fluidity and the smoothness of the device. My experience while using it was great. I also did not expect this phone to perform like a flagship phone, but I was pretty impressed and satisfied with the performance. Sometimes it would get a bit slow while going from app to app, or whenever I had several apps running in the background, but nothing that was really noticeable. The on-screen buttons are not of my liking, but I'm guessing in order to keep that price down, they had to do that. Battery life was excellent. With minimal to no battery drain while not being used, I could use it for a couple of days. That was just with light use. I imagine with moderate to heavy use, it would probably last a full day with a single charge. Gaming, watching videos on YouTube, and other activities that demand a lot of power are going to drain your battery fast, but that's expected since most phones actually do that also. But overall, the performance was great. I did not really feel like I was using a phone that was $200 and that it doesn't have the same specs as a $700 phone. Of course, if we bench test them or play some super heavy graphics game on them, the results will not be the same. But I test my phones as a normal user and doing normal everyday stuff, and this phone did excellent doing everyday normal stuff. One thing I did notice was when the screen was black, I could notice a black marking on the screen. I don't know if I did that or if it came like that, but I did notice it a couple of days ago. It may not be a big deal since you can only see it when the screen is black, but it may be an issue that may affect it at some point. On the other side, one of the good things about this phone is that it comes with a screen protector. Yes, this phone comes with a screen protector in the box and with one already on. I noticed the one that was already on a couple of hours after I unboxed it, and this is actually pretty awesome. Besides getting one inside the box, you already get one perfectly placed on your phone. I may add that this screen protector is probably a good quality one since I cannot see any scratches on it and I did not have to replace it. Also, as you guys saw in the unboxing, this phone came with some earphones. Just like the other phone I reviewed from Verykool, you're going to need these in order to use the radio feature on this phone. The quality on them is a bit better than the one on the previous phone I reviewed, but it's nowhere near having good quality audio. Overall, I think this is a great phone. With a great price tag, a nice size display, a decent camera, and good performance, you cannot go wrong. The $200 price tag is just perfect. Well, maybe the 4G LTE feature would make it perfect. But just like the other phone I reviewed, I see this phone for people who don't really care about having the latest and greatest specs or the latest and greatest phone out there. They just want a phone that will do everything and anything that has a great price tag to go along with it. I would definitely recommend this phone. But if you want to get a phone that's a flagship phone for $150 more, then I would recommend the OnePlus One or the Nexus 5. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Give me a thumbs up down below and also leave me a comment on what you guys think about this phone. Anyways, that was it for me. I was Carlos with Wirefly, and I'll see you guys in the next video.